Okay, let's double check to make sure things are working. Is stream live? Stream is live. As we got sound, I'm not sure, we'll have to double check. Not really gonna change much to be perfectly honest. La 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 la. La 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 la. Yes, we have sound. Excellent. And we're here. On the world of the Necron. We've just fought 3 versions of ourselves. One who followed Iconoclast greed, one who followed faith unwavering, and one who fell to chaos unending. I don't know why I even came over to say the phrase like that, but I did.
Let's see this through.
Let's see this through. I wonder if I can take out the other gun turret. Now see, these guys should teleport away. The fact they are not teleporting away.
Never fails in their duty.
Wow, it spun around and shot us. Well, that's not fair. Call for. It wasn't called for. What was I think I'll be able to shoot with these things? It shows it being that, so. Okay. Let's zoom in, otherwise the camera's gonna wonky on me. We were wobbly. Rubble. See, did that. Why did it do that? Mega Man camera game. Let's remove.
Next time, figure it out yourself.
Outstanding. Now back to the front line.
Oh, these are fresh injuries. Okay, let's wait for that. Accessory fees. I don't know, if I hit the thought button, I'll just answer it again when I swap characters. Flashback says. Skin patch. Trauma removal. You have Medicaid. You can have Medicaid. Funny enough, they can also use Drakari stuff. Don't know why, but yeah. Medkits, large medkits, advanced medkit. I have 43 of them. I have not been using them. Mostly due to the fact that 90% of my encounters do not end in me getting hurt. I don't know why that is, but it is the case. I generally tend not to get hurt. He is Conviction Iconoclast.
I align my path with yours.
Watching the lazy handle sacred technology breaks my heart.
Do you require an audience?
Yeah.
House Orcelio thanks
They
you.
say I have a magnetic personality. That certainly explains why I keep attracting trouble.
Yeah, that's a good way for it to look at it, yeah. I have magnetic personality. So what that means? It means I extract trouble like there's no one in the business. But yeah, they did something. I mean, on the one hand, you could argue that, oh, this is a good thing, you know, to deal with the that does something to the Necron, that gets rid of them. But it's like, not really killing them, it's just making them nuts. Finding him. That's Lord Inquisitor. I mean, I'd like to then, you know,
Onward to
leave this
victory.
place and go back home. But yeah, these guys are Victoria Texas. You guys are messing with stuff that you really don't get. I I mean, you use this weapon on the Aldari for starters. And given the fact that it spreads like a plague, it transmutes flesh to metal, it screams Catan. Inside here, maybe I should map, other than these guys being idiots. Oh, dear God, no. Dear God, no. Tell you I'm not messing around. That's Drukhari tech. That's their our tech because we've got skulls on it, which guarantees it's us. Please, for the love of God, tell you I'm not planning to do something that would mess with the Catan shard in here. If this thing breaks free, if it breaks any of the Catans free, we are all dead. We don't have the Holy Emperor to run around fighting for us. He's busy staving off chaos invading Earth, flooding to Earth. And even that's tenuous. If they break the Catan free, if the Catan come back, forget the Necron. The Necron will be our problem. The Catan will be our problem. And they will wipe us out in record time because they are... Each one of them is essentially a Chaos God. For any lack of better wording or phrasing, each one of them is like a Chaos God. Each one of them boasts of firepower to wipe out entire planets. In Gothica 2, when you play the Necron campaign, they throw one unstable shard. They only use shards. They don't use whole crystals full of one. The Catan. They use shards in small quantities. They threw an unstable one. They destabilized it on purpose. A ship the size of a planet exploded, was torn to pieces. That was from a shard. A whole Catan, on the other hand, would be like a morning, taking a morning breath, a breath. So yeah, am I looking forward to seeing a whole Catan? No. Why? Because we don't want to die. Hey, that would spell doom for the Imperium of Man. That would just be an end to the Imperium. There wouldn't be an Imperium of Man left to fight the Catan. They would be wiped out quickly and earthly. So, Inquisitor, idiot, I see you did not heed my warning, Jubel. Your decision to come here in spite of them may have consequences, but we can still have a chance to turn it to everyone's advantage, if your lordship listens to me very carefully. The line you're treading here is a dangerous one, Kal'Katar. Stop this madness. You're the one who was attempting something mad and dangerous by acting with insolence toward me. By the Emperor, you bell, I am in no mood to squabble with a rogue trader. Not even your recently installed lordship. Is that what you're here for? What is it? We call it a shard. Yes, and yes, as you have noted quite aptly, it is the reason I am here. This construct contains an ancient, or rather pre-ancient, being of cosmic power. They were called the Catan. The entity is currently trying to escape, and I am here to collar it. No! Bad idea, bad idea. The Necron are more advanced than us, and they had to trick the Catan into their collars. Our tech wouldn't even slow them down. The Catan told the Necron how to do this. Taught the Necron how to become this. The Necron knew, and for centuries, and for quite a long, it took them centuries to actually win the fight with the old ones, with the Catan helping. and the Necron was steadily learning and getting more advanced. Kalkathar nods at the giant device, whose design clearly points to it being brought into the crypt from outside. Malazar half closes his eyes, as if he's just heard something incredibly inane. Oh, grand spires of stupidity and unfathomable depths of opportunity is a dangerous combination for a single monkey. That's a good statement. No one in this world is contained. Yeah, no one in this world is capable of taming the power of the true Yingir, the Star Devourers. And if you think even a small and imprisoned part of one of them is going to yield to you, you are mad, monkey. Mad and short-sighted. A fine plan, apart from it being an insanely audacious one that will almost certainly get everyone killed. Specimen of an ancient predator race, devourers of pulsars, who feasted on star systems. Reality itself bent to their power, but many millennia ago an ancient Xenos race managed to defeat them, shatter them into pieces, and lock them away in prisons like the one you see before you. Yes, and the Necron take great care, and I do mean this, great care, constantly reinforcing said prisons and maintaining them. The Yingir are no mere predators, monkey. They are not just another sentient race. The ancient tales speak of the great war between the Ignia and the Old Ones. And in that war, the Ignia found allies to whom they promised unbound gifts. You have seen them, Elentark. Your species called them Necrons. The Ignia, Yingir, granted them everything they needed to fight their enemies. But their largesse came at a price. Tricked into a state that was neither life nor death. The Metal Warriors served the Star Devourers aeons, until they finally rebelled and confined their masters in prisons such as this one. We should be tricked by their powers too. Your unsanctioned Xenos at a point, Rogue Trader, which isn't the same as saying she's right. The Imperium will harness this creature's power and it will turn it on against our enemies. And you think you stand a chance against such power? Do you mean to say that a human is not capable of such a feat? But I am not just a human, I am the instrument of the Emperor's will, one of many, and the Imperium is omnipotent. If I were to fail, another would follow in my footsteps. That is how humanity makes the impossible possible, and with the hands of a particular people in particular circumstances, your skepticism is unwarranted. I'll say this creature has helped save the Imperium. Over my service, I've come to realize that the main problem humanity faces in this war is the imbalance in power. Our opponents are not a race or nations, but incomprehensible monsters. And it is high time we acquire one of our own. My yoke will bind this creature and make it a chained guard serving the Emperor. You're going to get us all killed. Dude, when the Drukhari and the Aldari agree on something, that's a sign you should run for the hills. Those two never agree on anything. In fact, their race was made to fight the Necron and their Catan masters. And all they managed to do was slow them down. They are older than we are. They are older than them. We are relatively young. Okay, yeah, sure, the 41st millennium, you know, been around for over 40,000 years. And then some. You know, so we're not exactly the new kids on the block. The Tower, the new kids on the block. And the Aldari technically helped those guys. Gave those guys a helping hand. I think. Someone did. We, in general, do not stand a prayer against this. This is a shard of one. This thing, a shard alone, could destroy this entire world without batting an eyelid on it. That's just flexing his power. That's not the full extent of my vision. There are other shards similar to this one, scattered across the galaxy. I plan on seeking them out and confining all of them inside the yoke. Each conquered monstrosity will bolster our defences. Oh well. Literally saying you're going to try and put these guys back together. There's a reason why the Necrons shattered them into little pieces. Lots of little pieces. There are countless shards, mate, scattered across the galaxy. The Necron Empire had most of the galaxy under its yoke before they fell. Given the circumstances of our meeting, I do not see why I should hide anything from anything. I seriously doubt you will share this information with anyone else, for one reason or another. I needed a remarkably strong force to keep my Xenos allies in check. The Emperor's Angels were just the weapon I was looking for. Except, considering the sensitive nature of my operation, I could very well risk requesting aid from my allies in the Death Watch. Could I? And then I remembered an old debt owed to me by a Space Wolves great company. So I decided to call in a favour. Yeah, if you told the Death Watch this, they would have turned around and shot your ass. He's the Lord Inquisitor, yes. He has a lot of authority, yes. But notice how he said request aid from the Astartes. Not demand aid. Not call. Not order the aid, order them. But request. Even the Lord Inquisitor, there are limitations on what he can do. And telling the Astartes to do anything is pushing his authority to the limit. They were an asset at first. The wolves helped me close the dimensional gate by overwhelming the security systems. I tasked them with hunting the Xenos condemned by Ymires. Yes, but eventually they started prying, and that was unacceptable. I could control Thorlbad by giving him more tempting targets. But Baleful Howl Pack. Yep, so they brought two companies. So Thorlbad was like, okay, we'll go after this guy instead. Here you go, here's a challenge for you. Target, go after him. But the Baleful Howls, on the other hand, Thorlbad was more than happy to let the Howls go hunting. Because let's face it, the Astartes were didn't exactly trust. They knew he was scheming. They knew he was up to something. So they wanted the Howl to the pack to go chasing it. They raided an outpost where my agents had been meeting with the Drukhari. The pack took prisoners, but lost the esteemed brother Ulfar. I hoped they would give their all into the research, but instead the wolves forced the system's coordinates out of the captives and came crashing down on my head. They had no gate to transport them. They used nothing but their warp engines. Thankfully, they realized their situation too late. So, Tanakai managed to neutralize them. Ulfar stares coldly at Kulgam, and the deadly frost of Fenris crackling in his voice as he speaks. You'll pay for this, Xavier Skalkatar. Know that I will have my bloody vengeance. I will have your death. Thanks to your predecessor, I arrived in the Expanse at the call of the Explorator fleet to deal with the Archmagos Amanat's heresy, but I quickly came to realization that Corona's Expanse's problems ran much deeper than a tech heresy. Unprecedented piracy running wild, blatant smuggling of Xenos artifacts, willful and impetuous rogue traders, and a growing threat of the ruinous powers. All this in a region that Drukhari considered their domain. Frankly, I considered purging the entire Expanse, but it would have been much easier to burn down this whole tangle of threads of corruption. But the web of spies I had woven presented me with much more interesting and radical solutions. While investigating Armanat's connections, I turned my eye to Theodora von Valancius. ultimately they gave me the shard. Yeah. He could have tried to burn down the whole thing. But if every rogue trader then turned the fleet into defensive thing and used their very loyal crews to fight back, that would have been one very big war that he could not afford. Theodora's instincts were uncanny. She spent decades hunting for a key that could open the dimensional gate. As if she knew that there was something incredible waiting for her on the other side. Her ladyship was lucky enough to discover the shard during one of her expeditions. A trophy that was too much for her to handle. Archmagos Amanat studied it on Theodora's behalf, creating weapons in exchange for access to the dangerous relic. But their research was too primitive and unambitious compared to the true power contained within the shard, though their idea was actually better than yours. Study it, keep it in lockdown, keep this lot asleep, sleeping, and when if they wake up, back off, let them go to sleep again, let them go back to see there's no threat and go back to sleep. Keep it slow, keep it quiet, study, and come to the dangerous realization that this place should be pretty much sealed in a giant bubble. And if possible, put somewhere in the middle of the webway gate, in the webway, behind a box, inside a door. Just, fold reality a few dozen times until you make a box so, a prison so airtight, it would take him a billion years to break out. By then we should be powerful enough to stop him. I had one of my own acolytes, Tanakai, send her spies, Theodora. They infiltrated rogue traders' retinue, earned their trust, and reported to me about the magnificent object. The rest was trivial. I seized Epitaph, laid down the conditions of our further coexistence. She was wise enough to concede defeat with dignity. I commenced Operation Precious Sentinel. I left the garrison on Epitaph, took the key to the dimensional gate from Theodora, sealed the gate, and started the creation of the yoke. I kept Theodora and her heirs in my sights, just in case. Not long before her death, I assigned Henrix to her and ordered her to rendezvous with him on Riker Minoris. But your lordship inherited him instead. I admit I wasn't aware of you. Theodora managed to keep her secret heir up her sleeve. What is this yoke? A containment device similar to this one, except better. The yoke was devised by the brightest minds of two races using ancient wisdom of long-gone Xeno civilization. A prison capable of not only holding the Catan shard, but also of controlling it, while releasing fractions of it being. An instrument of obedience and destruction, a masterpiece whose creation required immense effort. You had to go to the Drukhari for this. It was made for the on Erephas II. I captured Aranat's students, Axio Manfa, and she passed all her mentor's drafts to me. And the one overseeing the process was none other than your acquaintance, the tech priest Cubus Delphim. His fall was regrettable. It seemed that the unorthodox, daring things he did at my behest drove him to break his vows and sink into heresy. Dude, you had Drukhari help. Well, you stole something Drukhari were playing with. But the human mind could never comprehend the shard alone, and thus I appealed the inhuman mind. I shall deal with Drukhari. Theft of sacraments and the seals of the Adept Mechanicus, registered. Inciting the devout tech priest to commit heresy, registered. Blasphemous merging of sacred technologies with forbidden ones, registered. Further transgression, registered. Registration discontinued. Drill and Pascal's Mechanandrite screeches in fury. Right, mate, so one wants you dead, two wants you dead. I bet you can angle these two off, get these two mad too. Alas, the corporation demanded it. Through the agents of one of my acolytes, Emilina, I contacted Archon Ymir and made a pact. I gave her access to technologies contained in this relic and destroyed her rivals in the Cabal. She would relay information about their raids to my spies, and I would solve the problem. In exchange, her homunculus Teravantis forge the yoke for me. Of course, I did not let him near the shard itself, but rather set up a laboratory for him in Quetzatima. It was safer that way. All the pieces were contributing to my plan, but none had enough information to comprehend the entirety of it. So, in the end, Mazar's smile is not his usual triumphant and scornful one. He almost looks tired. In the end, I was right about Ymiris and the monkey. I was right all along. It's one of the most complicated and perfect creations of a race, which older than the Drukhari is no mere object, but a treasure trove of technology. A wise master could uncover many secrets simply by observing it. Yeah. Except they're not stupid enough to try and control it. It's like, we know what this thing is. We know what it can do. Yeah, we'll advance ourselves by looking at the tech and gleaming secrets from them. So we can, bolster our weapon, bolster ourselves, get ourselves ready, and prep ourselves for better stuff. Maybe even figure out how to seal our souls up in a way that will keep them out of Silent Thresh's grip. I mean, when you think about it, the Catan stole their souls, transferred them out bodies. The Catan and the Katana sealed entities, soul-devouring entities. This sort of technology would be very beneficial to creating technology that could allow them to seal their soul off, and would allow them essentially to do whatever they want. They wouldn't need to worry about torture and mayhem anymore because they won't be drained. The Eldari would love it. They could literally no longer have to worry about gathering spirit stones, and they could actually look at expanding increasing their population. They could look to expansion rather than... Trust me, your lordship, the threat of the alien pales in comparison to that posed by the ruinous powers. Ymiris could plunder 1,000 worlds, but she is no Urlan the Cruel. Orlon the Cruel. She was a greater danger to her own kin as she was to the Imperium. The disruption she caused among the Drukhari was only to our benefit. She intended to trigger a powerful disjunction in Conra, thereby destroying her rivals and elevating her own cabal in the process. Knowing full well how precarious her grand plan was, I made no attempt to talk her out of it. With a little luck, we wouldn't have need to worry about Conrad's influence. You underestimate the Dark City's size and its resilience. It has survived thousands of disjunctions, and will survive thousands more to live on as fuel for your nightmares. Yeah, he's quite right about that. She could do some major damage, some damage, but Common Ra is... We saw a very small piece of Common Ra. It's gigantic. I think it's nearly like the size of a planet. It was a dark day when you dropped from under the tail of your rotten womb, mother, you loathsome traitor. While we were fighting to exterminate the Xenos, you were busy carousing with them. Had I known sooner, I would have ripped your bitch black heart right out of your chest. I was gonna say, if they'd have known what he was up to, these guys would have turned round and whooped him instead. I really believe that. Since we are being so candid, I must note that you proved to be a much less convenient tool than I anticipated. This new information about a pact combined with the astro observation data collected in the star system resolves the inconsistencies identified earlier, until Xavier Calcazar stands accused of stealing the astrographic records of the Cognizance fleet. I'm amazed at you. By your analytical prowess, yes, I needed stars to feed the shard. The Cabal of the Reaving Tempest could steal them and bring them here, but it was imperative to preserve the exact energy parameters so not to trigger the object's premature detonation. I procured the necessary information on suitable stars from the Emperor's fleet data scriptorium. You literally sacrificed planets. You literally sacrificed entire star systems. Registering a Category 1 blasphemy. Unit Xavier Calcazar is hereby sentenced to intravenal dissection and study. Upon cessation of vital functions, unit remains must be disposed of in disgrace. There was no need for them, seeing as the yoke was almost complete and the situation was getting out of control. Theodore was dead, the cult of Final Dawn had retreated, reared its head and was preparing to strike, and Mimir's had forgotten a place she was putting forward too many elimination requests. And when I told her to curb her appetite, she retaliated. The theft of Rykard Star was timed to occur when the Master von Kalox would be on the planet. The Archon wanted to rob me of one of my agents and send a message. So he was going to nick him and deal with the problem. And then the cross expanse was engulfed in flame. I had to rush the operation and declare the sector-wide martial law, where the gate that Ymira's warriors had been using was destroyed and the facility razed. I evacuated on behalf of the yoke. Well, Terravantus had completed, but it was too late to retrieve the second half from Euphrates II. Cubus Delphin revealed to Ulon the Cruel where he should strike, and that almost spelt the end of the operation. Precious Sentinel, I appreciate your efforts in resolving this problem. In fact, you turned out to be much more useful than Fiorella ever was. Well, note, yes, I act as the executioner, as little as those losses were. However, to overestimate their importance, the Imperium would have been folly. Every single day, humanity pays a far more terrible price, and that must be brought to an end. You're nuts. So far, two answers. It would be too cruel to leave your curiosity unsatisfied. Almost killed you. Not at all. Operation Precious Sentinel is in its final stages. The increase in Xenos activity is a vexing yet trivial development to the grand scheme of things. They were supposed to guard the device, but they slept through the intrusion, and only the Catan Shan emissions could make them stir. Fyodor's research destabilized the Shard's prison, and my project only made it worse. Whenever particles of this Catan Shard energy seeped out, many curious phenomena occurred. The destruction of the crypt, the warped reality. When I tame the monster, I will order it to stop disrupting the laws of the universe. You're not going to tame it. That is things. It would be like you trying to tame the Emperor, or tame Nurgle, or tame Khorne, or Zeech, or Slanesh. You are essentially a tiny ant trying to tell a mountain what to do, and think that throwing rocks at it is going to make it stop. Dagon would be like, using an old Eldritch references, it would be like a tiny cultist walking up to Cthulhu, putting a tiny ring on its finger, and telling it now that it was now under his control. That would last all of 8.5 seconds. Or at least until Cthulhu found the joke less funny. And that brings us to the most interesting part of our conversation. You know my plan, so now I want to know yours. Will you admit that I am in the right and join me in this undeniably ambitious act? Will you try to stop me? I'll be upfront with you. If it's the latter, I will be forced to remove you. But I'm sure you realize that already. I will not let you bring this insane plan to fruition. No, I'm not going to let you bring it to fruition. Do you want to end all creation? These two say you're nuts. When the insane Drukhari call you nuts, then you have serious problems, mate, when the Drukhari are the ones calling you mad. The guys who are quite famous for being quite nuts themselves, being psychopaths. Because Nicoza nods calmly. There is no shred of hatred or disappointment in his face. Farewell, then. I am glad to have made your acquaintance, Ubel, despite everything. As has written you, eliminate the rogue trader. We're not fighting, run out the door!
Another battle demands our attention.
Oh, 13 enemies. Okay. I don't want you to sit next to him. You're playing with you now. That's supposed to put him there. Alright, so what's the turn order? Kalazar first, Mystic next, and Marazai goes. My guys are max level, so I can't get any stronger. And I've got really good gear. Oh no, Pascal first. My bad.
My vow is to serve.
Unfortunately, I can't get. What do I rotate? Can I put you to on it? I can.
The Messiah knows all, comprehends all. Request approved.
The Enforcer's nasty. Ooh, there's a lot of health. I was betting he's gonna have one of those things where he like gets punched and basically out and gets
Running
turns.
binaric override. The scriptural prognosis is
Favorable.
favorable.
Any chance there's enough guys over here I can steal?
The Messiah knows all,
Hey,
comprehends
before.
all.
Right.
Advancing.
Get them all a smack. Hang on, wings. Also strike.
Follow my
Oh, the only falls got punched twice.
Try harder.
Ouch. That wasn't bad.
Bring it on. Death to the heretics. Here we go.
Well, you ran straight to that, so. Marazai and then the effect as well, so.
Behold. Watch.
Void strike.
With grace and malice.
I'd love to dash over there, but you know. I can't. So I could have been straight from here.
I will herd the prey.
Amazing. Oh, let me see the damage. Could try slice. Also, it's like a poison I give him. He's gonna make it worse and worse and worse, right?
Hold on.
Hold on.
That's all you've got. Let's make it quick.
That did nothing.
My
reckoning will be swift.
It's on him.
Let's get to it. Let's get to it. Predator does not become prey.
Nice try. Okay, so love to get out of you guys. I'm far enough away that I can't have to worry about stuff.
If I may,
That for you with the sight. That might hit my own people. I got. How much did this cost me tactical stacks? Well,
isn't this a job for the serfs?
I've got some tax going off, so. Wow, this mystic is strong. These guys not so much. But it seems easy.
I'm not accustomed to being ordered around. Isn't this a job for the serfs?
Yeah, but I can just do this.
Easy.
By claw and thigh, the foe will be torn asunder.
I chance my life to get hit.
Feel the icy bite of death.
Well, not actually his turn, so now we go back to this. It's not actually my turn either. I'm technically just taking extras.
I know what to do.
Main target.
I said,
Sub-target.
so done. I know what to do. A costly mistake.
Dead target. I can do more shooting, it's not a problem with me. Ooh, an extra turn. Let's see it. Yes, because it should go him. She can get him.
I won't do that.
No, we can get him. I could literally give this guy one on this turn.
I am a navigator, not a servitor.
Tempting to use finest hours to give one extra turn. And no attack limit. So he could technically wail on him until he kills him.
I'll show you why navigators are feared.
Don't dis-
I can destroy it. Sorry.
with great skill before
Now
me
see,
crazy.
the thing is, Dracari guy here has a very good anti-person attack, and this is what Toxin. Okay, which one is this one? This thing hits plus 3 characteristics. Yeah, so essentially every time I hit someone with this weapon, he's getting stronger and better, which makes him harder and harder to hit.
Grace and malice. Behold.
The Inquisition Mystic's already, well, near dead. And Cassius has actually gone back to having a turn. Ain't that fun?
If I may,
Yeah, she finally finished the turn. Nope, there's no hit. That's to enfeeble them. Why? Because we've fallen guys left, right, center. Point of damage. His armor's that tough that it takes a lot of damage to actually hurt him.
Out of my way!
He needs a technician to do his technicalists. Not exactly what I call the hey, you are going to be the best. Can I actually hit you from here? I can, and an item does do that. She's also got a thing that lets us reload, which in of itself is actually fun.
I understand your intent. Deal death with my hands.
Wait.
It's like no weakness is hidden from my
That wasn't
sight.
even a
This tedium has been another soul slips beyond the veil. If it serves your cause.
she's no longer a priority target. And I'm going to set a priority hit on
I
him.
am not your Xenos pet monkey.
Let's see. Let's see. No, 10,000 finishes his turn. I kill trailed enemy, mounting gain extra turn after that ally's turn. Alright, let me hand you.
Let's set this in motion.
And then there were 9. Yeah, Kalkazai, you're losing your boys very quickly. What happened on you?
I know
How
what to
about you?
do.
I've got line of sight on you. I got an extra turn anyway, because it's her turn, no turn. Wait, he's got a skill turn? Yes, it's called bonuses. Always on the floor. Oh, I don't have line of sight on him. In range, but I don't have line of sight. Shoot you though. I want to kill somebody else.
They won't expect this. You clearly are outmatched.
Yes, we will.
Easy. Didn't see that one coming, did you?
Yep, and he's still getting killed.
I know what to do.
His health is dropped like a rock. How is he not failing you? Boop.
Didn't see that one coming, did you?
Surface are covered in mucus. Really? I know there are a lot of dead things here, but I don't think covered in mucus. I mean, I could just get number 2 using the weapons attack normally one at least AP. Each new they automatically scores crit hit. Could be activated. You know what? No problem.
Let's get to it.
marked the dude down below so we can dodge me.
Let's get to it.
We had 13. We are now down to 8. Ah, time to kill the All-Father enemies.
See how the wolf succeeds.
Really?
None can do this better than a warrior.
Hey, okay. Punt. Kill. Punt.
So shall it be. Wolves.
Thing is, they don't have access to the guy who was buffing them up.
Cubs play. My hand is thunder. My strike is ruin. So shall it be.
Hello there. We killed the targets. We immediately get an extra turn.
As said, so done.
There's another one. That's 6. I should be able to kill him. No.
As the tactical imperative dictates.
See, you got the Sami attack primary. Secondary weapon primary weapon.
Activating force mode sacrament.
Ah, good. It's only got a low health, not a way in his health. Can use that, apparently.
Running binaric override. Request approved.
Well, yeah, that'll give boost my own attack. Apart from this one.
The scriptural prognosis is favorable.
And you can lose armor. Nice hit. Good hit.
My vow is to serve.
He's prone now. They don't take damage to them and they're not going to tick on them. Ow.
Flesh is weak, yet iron knows no pain.
Not enough.
Okay. Yep, and the guy you were buffing you before is a corpse, so.
I will savor your delectable language. What a useless plaything. Broken already?
Which means you're not getting that buff to save you, keep you safe.
Behold. Revel in your terror.
You know, if I put down
Grace and
to here, then you slice.
behold.
Anyway, I got the right now, but that's fine. You know, nothing to make him just do constant punches.
Don't distract me.
Because constant punches with him is absolutely evil. Anyway, I done immediately, because, yeah. I was ready, I'm going to shoot me.
Let's set this in motion.
Yeah, I can't afford to do anything right now with this guy. And since you guys are not next to my people right now,
Emperor, give me strength. As
fall
duty
to my
demands.
endless stare.
I'm not accustomed to being ordered around.
Yeah, technically she's not. Now she's on this trick yet. Not gonna be enough, lad. You'll get at least some points on it.
No weakness is hidden from my sight. If I must.
Dispatch.
My heart sings with the thrill of battle.
That's a big chunk of health. Actually, you've got some. You go. Midday relay reality.
If you insist, Lord Captain.
Buff you.
Ancestors
Oh,
guide
excellent. They didn't neutralize her. She already had that stance active. So it didn't matter that she'd had a turn. Her actual turn hadn't come up yet, so. Excellent.
This tedium is beneath me.
Dogs are dropping quick. Well, that's a lot of reloading.
Fortune favors the swift.
She gets a reshot. One free
You
shot.
cannot
Oh,
force me, Alantak.
can't see them. Can you see them? No. And the one
I am not your Xenos pet. Ancestors guide me.
shot on you.
If it serves your cause.
I did that, which was not right because I should have done the other one. But I got the Bell who's a rolling slaughter. Oh, he's not until next turn. And the only other guy is technically doing it on the top, all the way north. I can't hit him. Hit you
I know
though.
what to do. Contemplate your weakness.
Hit
As
you
said,
much.
so done.
What about even like a load of attacks that they can pull off? The more attacks they have, the better. Now it's going to see a rapid fire. Well, then, but I thought I went for a bounty hunter style with this guy.
They won't expect this.
No, he is marked.
Let's set this in motion.
Guys are not on the roster.
Here we go.
Oh, this is veteran dudes here still.
I challenge you, damn it.
Just do this so we can shoot her back then.
So it shall be. Not in disgrace.
Now just in case it's... Nice.
Feel the icy bite of death.
How about that just cancels out the effect of run and gun.
I have become the All-Father's worthy instrument.
This is more of a silly.
None can do this better than a warrior of the All-Father.
I know it's devastating, so we just look him down. And now it's free.
So it shall be. I hunger for
also because I have like 10 million attacks with you,
See how the wolf succeeds.
and you get really good. And you're getting really good at fighting.
Cubs play. Wolves reign.
Right. That'd be one dude.
I've got a vessel for pain. I am its master. It is hand.
That's Cabre. This fight's got a lot better than the other one.
Behold.
But you're dead.
Watch. I'm done playing with you.
No, it is too early. The yoke must be activated, or all is lost.
Yep, here comes this guy. Nomos. An invisible yet clearly tangible aura of power envelops the figure clad in the robes of the tech priest. It is all the more baffling to hear a youthful, excited voice from under the hood. This is it, the place of our origin. Nomos' gaze is trained upon the Catan shard. It was your strike and your wish to escape your prison that begot us. The mysterious creature has been on your ship's soul so long turns to face you, but it is you, Yubel, who truly ushered us into this world. So let us meet our abominable precursor together, for it is ready to break free. Greetings, Nomos. We are out of time. Now. It escapes now. Your yoke was never going to work. You fiddled and destabilized the prison. Shard of the Void Dragon. Oh god. The Void Dragon. Yeah. So essentially, him messing about with the Void Dragon's prison
Oh, these
broke it
poor
early.
females wretches.
There's Yep, he did not. That yoke was never gonna work. 13,000 HP. Oh wow, he did a lot of turns. Right, what have we got? Characteristics, well, 92, 92. A lot of 92s. A lot of toughness. No effects, no allied effects, no weapon. Please don't tell me that's the actual damage. Hail of fire, max ammo 1000. Okay. Burst flow inversion, I don't like that. Immunity Deathless, Combat Master, Quantum Cognition. As long as any shard copy of the or energy orb mean. Each time it attacks, the Catan shard will gain a stack of. Oh great, reflective distribution on the attacker. Blow up dispersal shards. Okay, this thing's. I don't like that sound at all. Let's go. Thank God we just like full heal. One round, okay. Oh, the dopey. The dope went and tried to activate my thing. Yeah, how'd that work out for you? We messed about with the Catan. Essentially, more or less, we messed around with the Catan's prison. We weakened the prison.
Running binary override. Request approved. Running binary override. The Omnissiah knows all. Comprehends all.
Nice.
The scriptural prognosis
Let's hope this isn't gonna kill him. Then please put some kind of exposure in. Here's one joint operation. Joint analysis. Well, okay. Rolling shard, Catan shard, rolling shard, rolling shard. But there's absolutely no point whatsoever in me getting set up. As we have now just been teleported
I
around.
am not your Xenos pet monkey. I understand your intent.
I love it more than that, but c'est la vie. We can kill these.
Fortune favors the
Oh,
swift.
we can kill these shards off, then great, because then we can.
If our ancestors guide me, if it serves your cause.
Okay. I like if you like, just it'd be great if you could instigate it. But even by Drakari standards, this guy, they are not entities that we can just run up and go hey and kill. What was that game? I want to click on this, I sit across the room. Do that.
With grace and manners. Behold!
Nice.
Behold! With grace and manners.
One's nearly dead, that's good.
I know what to do. Easy.
Take pot shots at this one's up.
They won't expect me to do it. Let's set this in
I didn't know
motion.
they were going to do a snap round. I was going to shoot that guy, I was going to shoot the other guy. Yes, put one of those.
As said, so done. Possibly your weakness. I know what to do.
But contemplate in such a way that don't get murdered by you. for.
Easy.
Fenris shoulder! So it shall be.
Kick.
Opponents cannot damage a star.
None can do this. Feel the icy bite of death!
Yeah, but in this particular case, I don't really know how the visual thing, to be honest. We're not exactly what we call a icon end.
As said, so you clearly are outmatched.
Nice, good look at that. I can't put you because you're on the way too far away, and you ain't gonna die in one turn. That's some wishful thinking on my part.
I am a navigator, not a servitor.
No, but at this moment, you are just as good as anything we need.
It's painted black. Do not dare ask.
I did dare ask, that's the whole point. I wanted to activate this and orchestrate a firestorm on the guy.
In the name of House Orsenicon, I shall prevail.
Yay! We only have to kill him a few thousand times. Guys, can we all like just shoot him a lot harder, please?
I know what to do. See that one coming, did you? I said, so done. I know what to do.
Yeah, but actual next turn we'll do stuff. Oh, for its natural. Ulfar's actual turn.
My strike is ruined! See how
Let's say attack.
the wolf succeeds! Wolves reign!
That would be hilarious if we actually knocked out. Oh, hang on, I didn't have much. I also have to get the sword out.
None can do better!
We're down to 9,000.
Fight on shore!
I can still keep shooting.
So it shall be. Our father's word!
This was cool. Oh, what are you doing? The yoke. I think though it's weakening him.
See how the wolf succeeds!
Yeah, but
His thunder! My strike is ruined!
the yoke is currently holding him, and we want him to keep holding him until we finish killing him. Above all things unholy, we need to kill him.
Activate calculated fury algorithm.
It does, because it's not organic.
Running binary override. Inside out. Comprehend.
Ow!
Fortune favors the swift.
And they're deadly.
This tedium
Okay,
is
you're the low
beneath
two.
me.
But most of the Swift. Actually, before I do that, see if we
I
can get
am
ourselves
not your Xenos
a
pet,
weak point,
monkey.
so we can get some extra damage.
If it serves your cause. If I must.
Yeah, we'll prep for this shot. Oh.
Bring it on!
Mother, get in here and do some thumping.
It is handled.
Lots of thumping. I need like 10,000 punches from you.
Warrior of anguish!
The threads of progress unraveling.
Give me more points.
What?
Prominence cannot damage a star.
Well, we really, really try. Down grab without getting a lot of punches. Dispatch will do a lot of damage though. He's not the best person to use this ability with. Not this phone, because this phone's a machine.
Don't distract me. With grace and malice. I'll revel in your terror. I am the raving tempest incarnate!
Well, we'll go with dispatch
It
attack.
is handled.
A prominence cannot damage.
This one's a good one to hit.
Behold, I revel in your terror!
Please tell me thanks to that thing he's eating. We lost a load of those. Oh wow, we have killed his skills. So then, minus 46.
The threads of progress unraveling.
It is stacking, so we are killing his ability to fight back. Oh, this weapon, the Jin Blade, is actually turning out to be really, really good.
Army breaking!
Jin Blade of Ymir-S. It's turning out to be incredibly handy, especially for this fight. It is absolutely eating away at his health. Actually, not at his health as much.
Revel in your
I don't.
terror!
You see? Doesn't matter.
Oh, I don't think so. Oblivion approaches. Behold, a euphoria of anguish!
Alright,
Count me out.
okay.
As said,
Thank you,
so
sir.
done.
Not even. I have to do my turn. I've got time I can do.
Echoes back.
Revel in your terror!
I forgot about that ability ends.
This?
No. I forgot that ability actually ends my turn.
If I may,
Progress unraveling.
Oh, no, you're supposed to do something. Well, you're not doing anything.
isn't this a job for the serfs?
I don't have a dash ability. I do on the other hand have a Kabang ability.
Request. Probability analysis successful. Running binary combat is an equation. Your life is a negligible variable.
I am a navigator tried by
That means I
grace
can
at
get them.
least.
Weapon weapon, which means I can immediately...
I'm not accustomed to being ordered around.
get you Bell Tower the next turn. This time I will not immediately use the attack and make my... and end my turn. Yeah.
Let's
Right.
set this in motion. You clearly are
But that one's done.
I said, so contemplate your weakness.
But yeah. Seriously strong so. Nice, now we're back down to one person, yes? Good. I don't like fighting multiple dudes.
Wolves! Become the old father's worthy instrument! So it shall be!
We are destroying him.
None can do this better than a warrior of the Old Father!
Let's see. Yeah, it's concentrate. Makes AoE spell attack, right? Not reverse attack.
Spite of death!
I have to move closer to the pumpkin. Spada!
Is on the hunt.
Well, we've wanted to actually calculate points, so that's great. Second thing good is the fact that this thing is still zapping.
Scriptural prognosis is favorable. Request approved. Ability analysis. Success heavy is the tread of his faith.
I'm moving here so we can't accidentally shoot your bell.
We function as one. Running binaric override.
Simulating dawn. What do you keep doing? I'm not entirely sure what you keep doing. Fortunately, I can't shoot him because he's behind the object.
I move swiftly to strike.
Reapply this. I mean, I don't need to. He's a giant target. It's not exactly hard to hit him.
I understand your intent.
Take the victim's place. Right, go do something normal.
I know what to do. Easy. You clearly are outmatched.
You say that, but he is doing a very good job of hitting us.
Contemplate your weakness.
Yep. Keep firing. I can only fire single shots, so that's fine.
They won't expect you to see that one coming, did you?
I can't just press one.
I know what to do. You are clearly outmatched.
I'm not gonna fire. His rate of fire is too slow for the room.
Let's set this in motion.
Yay! Got it. Got it. No. The yoke. The ancient monsters struggle against the energy manacles of the yoke. It's impossible powers that make reality itself burst at seams and are being forced into a compact dungeon. But quark by quark, returning it to a cruel and painful non-existence in the moment. You could struggle harder, but something is hindering it. You are the cause of these hindrances. Only now does the Catan Shard turn its focus to you. For the battle was nothing more than the reflex resistance of an alien mind absorbed in a completely different range of thought responses. But now it is thinking about you, and its thoughts are so corporeal that you can sense them and know them. It seeks an end to the confrontation. It is capable of resolving it in a way that would benefit all. More and more tears appear all over the shard's form. As the yoke absorbs its power, it becomes increasingly harder for the shard to maintain its physical structure. Tears. Each imperfection you inflict brings the Star Predator closer to imprisonment. Do not bow your head before our abominable precursor. It was begotten by the dark abyss of the past. It is a fragment of which devours stars and erase civilization. It knows no benefit other than its own. Allow us to stand against it. This is our time, our impossible chance. As yet another layer of reality cracks, the figure appears before you. Her. After giving you a probing and appraising look, Theodora permits herself a slight smile. The particles of reality around you begin to boil, trying to heal the wound upon which existed and preventing her from entering your version of reality. You and she can exchange words, forced glances, but a physical connection is impossibility. You are merely a fleeting phantoms that could scatter any moment. She is silent to gaze, still trained on you, as she tries to commit your every feature to memory. The smile grows wider. To walk bravely first into darkness, to unite and reclaim what was lost, to triumph over a nightmare untold, to hold boldly the reins of fate, to walk steadily the road of thorns, through great pain to greatness. I think that was the past. The wound on reality is healed, the vision of Theodora quickly fades away. You catch her last words. Whatever fate you choose, one can only hope it will be better than mine. Okay, so that literally could have been the past her seeing me and now knowing what she needs to do. Mental contact is effortless. This is not communication. Such a powerful being cannot comprehend communicating with anyone but its equals. It simply bears the gift of making the other hear and understand it. So grand is the potential of its thoughts. The Catan wishes to be. All Catan exist to spread and conquer, not to stay manacled in untime, where it was entombed by the contemptible sentient tools. Away from all that is, the Catan wishes to ascend, sate its hunger, and embrace once more the pure exhilaration of claiming and taming reality. The Catan is the pinnacle of reality. It is eternity, dominance, omnipotence, individuality. The Catan is the original purpose behind all existence. The rest was born in order to contain, nourish, and be appropriated by the Catan. To the Catan, space is an illusory variable. To the Catan, time is a young and trivial phenomenon. for it existed for an eternity in the gaseous energy font of the universe before time was eventually born. To the Catan, fact and probability are mere abstractions, between which it can soar on its electromagnetic wings. Currently, the Catan is not whole. It was shattered into lesser pieces, and so were its force and powers. The feeling of emptiness is oppressive, and it yearns to become one again. Yeah, this is the only reason why we actually stood a chance against this thing. It was broken up into a billion pieces. We're probably fighting something that is less than 1 billion from its full potential. This guy whole could, as he just, for him, time and reality are fleeting concepts. It came before the universe was born. It'll be here long after the universe is gone, and it'll be there ready to suck upon the next one when it is born. It may even change its shape and become something different. You hear a whisper from Pascal's voice. I know this feeling, Xenos. Power, eternity, comprehension. Catan once chose to reign over the short-lived races and forged a new and glorious fate for them. It has learned from its mistakes. Now it will only bestow its gifts upon the chosen few. We did this to an entire race. And that came to bite us in the butt. The Catan can grant, your thoughts falter, for it is difficult for your mind to fathom the full scope of the word. The Catan can grant everything. I mean, I was going to say, if you were to be an evil person, and this thing said, you know what, if you free me, if you serve, I will give you everything. Now, for most entities and demons and whatnot, that was an empty word. That's an empty word. It's a, yes, I'll give you everything, but it won't be everything. It'll be whatever its power can give you. But in this guy's case, it can quite literally means everything. A mortal like the Rogue Trader, like us, with the power of the Catan backing us, there would be nothing we couldn't accomplish. We could push through any barrier. With his power backing us, we could shatter everything. The thing is though, when he's free to run around in his own little Todd, he'll run off and he'll hunt down the other shard chambers. Now, if we're lucky, the Necron will wake up incoming, go, oi, no, flex their muscles, and hopefully put him back, force him back into a cage again. Again, this thing is literally only working because we just weakened it. We weakened it to a degree where it could actually get hold of it. Do not listen, reject the promises. Do not allow your mind to be clouded, Elentark. No one is capable of receiving everything, or granting everything, not even a star-devouring Ygir. Is that supposed to be Sanai? Which should be Engir. And this is the shard of Engir cannot even grant itself freedom. It's much easier for you to stop trying to comprehend the Catan, for it, one who can grasp the world in 100 ways, to stop comprehending you. Nomos? If our birth ever had a purpose, then it is here and now. Why do you call it the shard your precursor? Because that's what it is what it is, and we are we, and what we are. We have told you before about Theodore's ambition, Armanak's mind, the ship's cradle, the Epitaph's secret. One sprouted into another, and spurged another. Thus, Nomos was born. We are but an echo of the Shard's power, an echo that left us its prison. But we have become something so much more with your help. Clash with the precursor, touch it, absorb it, so that the reflection becomes the object reflected. So the Shard becomes Nomos, then, and only then, will its threat to be eradicated forever. We stand at the threshold of probabilities, and the outcome and outside the bounds of predictable. It is beyond possible to know whether we can or cannot. But we believe that we can, and that is what drives us to try. And if we succeed, we will obtain power beyond compare. We will become a great shield against any threat, in whatever form it may manifest itself. Shard's reaction, observation, analysis, and an almost intangible anxiety. Well, yeah, it's trying to decide it doesn't know what's going to happen. Now, this is an echo. This isn't even the Shard's full power. This is not even the Catan's full power. This is an echo of the Catan. Now, he would gain, Nomos would gain immense power. A bit like a genie. Phenomenal cosmic power! Teeny tiny in space. However, would it be safe to let him do it? And then we'd have the same thing as what the other guy wanted. Well, except this thing could turn around and say no, and thump us back when it doesn't like what we're doing. See, so we got a choice now. Do we allow Nomos to try and take the shards into itself? Do we destroy the shard, throw the final blow, consign it to oblivion without end? Technically speaking, this part of it would go dissipate, but it would probably just be absorbed by the others. Then you would probably be drawn to the rest of them. So here's the thing. Do we take the final choice? But yeah, in general, I think the last option is definitely a no-no for us. Because it's definitely not what we want. Yes. I'm not sure what the best option is. I think we've actually managed to work ourselves into a path that we can only get This option we can only get because we did the Nomos side quest. Because we have Nomos. I wonder, can we save? That'd be great. If we can like save here, then that's a good idea. Can we save and cheese this so we can have multiple endings? No, we cannot. Well, that's we saved. I'll save free. I think that's a fight. Right, we have to go through the fight again. Yeah, because Calcazar is still alive. Oh no, we have to do the fight again. That is doable. Yup. These? Mad. I don't like these. This one sounds like a traitor. This one I believe is what we're supposed to have done if we had the Inquisitor with us. Let's have the last one. We are ready for the most important battle of our life. Wish us luck. Noah steps towards a shard, and the whole world explodes into a terrifying whirlwind. You can hear the colours and see the touches. Ice burns your hands while fire leaves you freezing. In the midst of this madness you can clearly sense a battle raging. A clash of two beings, one endlessly ancient, the other endlessly young. This could take a long time. The power of the Catan Shard is such that it redefines the very notion of power. But it has a weakness, one you can see only now. With the Shard and its rival standing face to face, the Shard is just that. A Shard. It's incomplete. It is not whole, and it cannot be what the Catan was before. What opposes a Shard is something entirely different. An undivided, sentient being with clear purpose in mind, akin to a well-aimed arrow. And the one who fletched and loosed this arrow was you. That goes on and on and on, running the course of time. But you don't need the gift of clairvoyance to know who will emerge victorious. Lucky for this guy, it was literally a shard. If it had been the whole guy, one, we wouldn't want it. Two, we were being destroyed. Shadows of the future. Run finale! The Catan Shard was transmuted into a new form, and their name was Nomos. It busted out of that with no problem. Possessing the power of an ancient being and nurtured by the rogue trader, the young star god watched over the Chronotic Expanse, their new domain, with curiosity. Gathering its bleeding worlds together the rogue trader dared to build something more noble and civilized in the Expanse. A haven for those drifting and unprotected in the strict hierarchy of the Imperium. It would be an unbound frontier where freedom and compassion were not wholly extinct. Nomos. The shackled monster under the Von Valancius control ensured the survival of the fledgling utopia. The Star God destroyed all who threatened its peaceful civilians, instilled fear in those of little faith. The Expanse tasted the sweet fruit of freedom, intolerant with reverent fear. The Imperium could not forgive such insolent deviation from the order prescribed by Holy Terror. The Von Valancius dynasty was accused of seditious formation of their own empire. An invasion fleet gathered in the Calaxius sector, and the lifespan of the young utopia was short as its creators. Protecting the young kingdom for freedom, Nomos created dimensional barriers that cut the Chronotic Expanse off from the Imperium more soundly than the Great Rift. The humanity of the Expanse was left in isolation, relying only on themselves. They either had to build something new, and different from the Imperium, or fall to the horrors lurking in the darkness. The ideals of the young Eubel von Valancius were committed to were alien to the Imperium, but close to the hearts of many in the Expanse. Anyone who could not resolve a dispute or who was denied justice rushed to the palace of the rogue trader in search of mercy. Rumours and stories of his humanitarian rule formed the foundation of the Valancian school of philosophy. The sect united commoners and aristocrats in the belief that for the Imperium to flourish, it should stop seeing its subjects as mere tools. This dangerous heresy was denounced in many systems, but persecutions only hardened and multiplied its followers. And now for the other characters. Having learned a bitter lesson on Footfall, Incendia Cordia let go of her fanatical zeal. Relinquishing the reins of power, she secluded herself on a cloister world. The time of purgers passed, and with it, the time of law and order. In the power vacuum that followed, the dark legacy of the abominable Aspice reared its ugly head, and Incendia's dominion gradually devolved into a nest of criminals and pirates. Resisting the temptation that besieged him, Caligos Winterscale returned to his domain and began to piece together the shattered remains of his protectorate. Until his dying day, his actions and thoughts were dedicated to saving abandoned worlds and protecting survivors. Alas, he was not able to achieve much in the time he was allotted. He breathed his last breath on the same throne that he refused to leave for decades, adamantly refusing augmetics that would restore his mobility and power to his legs. Thanks to the patronage of the von Valancius dynasty, the cult of St. Durus was successful in spreading its influence across the Expanse. Overshadowed, the cults of other saints lost their followers and faced a harsh choice: slip into obscurity or swear allegiance to the ideals of Durus, the warrior. After the death of the Reverend Hieronymus Dolorous, a man called Chaplain took over the leadership of the Durusan mission. He hid his name, but not his crimes or his piratical past. With the resolve of an experienced voidfarer, he steered the cult and even led his fellow believers on military expeditions against brigands, enforcing order and converting depraved captives to the faith. The deal struck by the Cognizant's fleet and the von Valancius dynasty replenished the Explorator's dwindling supplies and allowed them to re-embark on a rapid and unrelenting expansion campaign. With powerful bases established in the Expanse, the Omnissiah scouts bravely ventured forth towards unnamed stars with the same drive that propelled their ancestors to explore the Expanse itself. The schisms of discontinuing the cycle engulfed the entire Cognizant fleet, and soon the Civil War was over. Disregarding the commandments of their forefathers, the Explorators started down a dangerous path of new comprehension, creation, and revision of procedures and algorithms. The fleet was united once more, and in its unity, it was ready to stare down any horrors standing in the way of the catechism of maintenance and operation. Well, that's actually not a bad idea. Instead of staying completely rooted in their past, only and thinking that everything has already been invented, expanding and learning is a good idea. Magus Dominus Opticon 22, one of the first to hail the return of the Messiah, took the helm of the Mother Squadron of the Cognizant's fleet. Unquestioningly embracing the teaching of discontinuing the cycle, he personally saw to the crushing of any renegades who did not accept the Messiah's words as truth, and earned themselves the identifier, Chrome Scourge. Profitable deals made between the Fellowship of the Void and the von Valancius dynasty helped them subdue smaller brigands. Squadrons in the sector, many worlds and stations saw the opening of the Fellowship dens, in which grotesquely sincere pirate representatives took kickbacks from traders in exchange for safe passage. Naturally, the servants of the Von Valances dynasty and people under Rogue Traders' protection were safe from the Fellowship of the Void's attacks. Mostly. The first command that Ryza issued after her miraculous rescue from Footfall was the complete extermination of all worshippers of the Dark God among the Fellowship of the Void. The old pirate wanted to find another way for her people to survive. The former renegades hoped to live by the law, working as mercenaries or traders. When it seemed they were finally on the path to a peaceful life, the Imperial Navy conducted a flash raid and destroyed all of their ships. Those who survived the bloodbath were publicly hanged. Yeesh. The Catabolic mission thrived on the riches it acquired in the deals with the Rogue Trader. The organization expanded to new markets, built up a mercenary army and fleet, and was ready to defend the legitimacy of its business from the authorities, those foolish enough to deny it. That right died of quick, brutal, and unexplained deaths. Vladin Tokhara, as lead of Footfall, survived 14 assassination attempts and ported no less than 2,000 schemers before a shot finally took his life. The esteemed liege's funeral was held in great secrecy, with only his closest entourage being permitted to view his corpse, which spawned some peculiar rumours. Yeah, like he's not dead. A multitude of agreements bound the Imperial Navy to the Von Valances dynasty. Captains were eager to patrol the Protectorate, knowing they would be richly rewarded. Competing ships were lost to pirate attacks and subjected to harsh inspections. Many officers quietly entered the dynasty's service, receiving a salary and a title in exchange for their excellent skills. Worthy admirals valued their new friends and enjoyed more gold than their wisdom and their uniform. Charters Captain Austerus Forfast founded the Forfast and Companions Merchant Company, excelling in trade and acquiring substantial escort fleet. After 3 decades, he travelled to the Moor to return to the Imperium in hopes of obtaining the fabled warrant of trade. It is not known how this venture ended. So he went to try for the warrant of trade. I mean, it's very hard to get. You have to jump through a lot of hoops to get those things. When the Rogue Traders' astropath apostasy became apparent, the Imperial Navy fulfilled its duty and fought the Von Valances dynasty. The Battle of Dagonos ended in resounding defeat, and the surviving ships fled into distant systems. Disheartened but not broken, the captains vowed to rebuild their forces and planned raids into the apostate territory. The crucial reason for the defeat was the extraordinarily high percentage of captains who betrayed their oaths and defected to Von Rota's side. Overnight, he acquired a battle-ready fleet of his own. The Protectorate searched for a marshal who had so weak. Protectorate search for a marshal had so weakened the Adeptus Arbites that their new leader had to spend the rest of their life restoring order within the organization. While the Arbites were busy dealing with their internal problems, lawlessness and disobedience flourished throughout the Expanse. Dagonos grew and prospered until it became the capital of the Kronos Expanse. The planet was like a giant magnet, whose pull held together the worlds of the Expanse, absorbing the treasures and vices of the sector. Humanity was exploring the Expanse, and Dagonos became the capital for the brave starfarers and its pioneers. It was from here that expeditions departed into the uncharted wilderness, and here they returned bearing wondrous trophies. Captains, cartographers, and scribes flocked here to exchange news. Kiva Gamma washed off the stain of its former defilement, but not the dark memory of it. The sacred halls were never silent, and production rates became the supreme law. The glory of the Imperium was forged in blood and sweat of its toilers, and the millstones of the manufactorums ground the workers down by the thousands. Even in death, the souls of the servants dared not step away from their machines. The enthroned Null Caliph drew millions of pilgrims and granted the planet hallowed status. Its sacred calculation continued for centuries, and the foremost sages of the Adeptus Mechanicus travelled to the world so they could attempt to divine its meaning. Janus was conquered, the Xenospirits were exercised, and the wilderness was subdued. The fields grew until they covered the entire planet, and billions of tons of provisions were harvested there. Janus had become the breadbasket of the expanse, and to threaten it would be to condemn millions to starvation. The dark rule of the Seekers of the Forbidden was established on Janus, while terrified serfs toiled in the fields, in the lofty castles. Wise regent renegades studied the knowledge of the Xenos, learned their filthy language, and embraced their culture. The mists born of irrigation devices and hid the evil work from the righteous. Despite grim expectations, the coexistence of humans and Aldari did not lead to enmity. Janus had faced many trials, and the struggles against them brought the two peoples together. They did not develop an affection for one another, but they learned to speak with no weapons in their hands. More than one dangerous xenophile schism was born on Janus. Yeah, that's a good thing though. Even if we can all we can achieve, even if all we can achieve is the act of, you know what, actually, if the only thing we manage to achieve is to talk with each other and not immediately fire weapons at each other, that's a massive step forward. We don't have to be best buddies, but not being enemies is a good start. Doesn't matter if we're not like ooh and best pals and sharing all the secrets. So long as we're not throwing punches at each other, that's good. I believe one. Actually, I believe there are many things that did this. I remember one series I watched. One character stood there in a room full of people who hated him. And the character said, "Why shouldn't I just why should I stop hating you and I'm not gonna forgive you and why should I attack you and that?" He said, "You don't have to. But if you can go, all you wanted to do is listen. And if you can go a minute, then why not an hour? And if you can go an hour, why not a day? And eventually, you can stop hating. You can eventually stop hating me. But it all starts with a single minute." Minds of Venomous 6 grew deeper and deeper. Soon the planet became the darkest and most frightening colony of the expanse, the final stop for the exiled and the damned. The brutal, hardened inhabitants of the Death World feared neither humans nor xenohorrors, knew no mercy, and were known as the most fearsome fighters in the sector, who had traded their lives for the right to leave the eternal darkness of the mines. Guard of luxurious palaces were built under the climate's domes, surrounded by clouds of poison. They housed so many powerful blackguards, and persecuted aristocrats and wealthy scoundrels that Venomous 6 gained unimaginable political influence. Such grand and sinister deeds were done that before long the grim Death World was spoken as the new political centre of the expanse. No longer secluded and forlorn, Foulstone turned into a spiritual centre of the expanse, clad in gold and power. Rulers went there to be anointed for greatness, criminals for penance, and the righteous for encouragement, and there was no end of them in sight. Treasures and influence quickly corrupted the supreme hierarchy. of Falstone, turned them into kosher venal ethos anointed by greed. As they did dirty deeds under the cover of holy investments, their power steadily grew. It is highly surprising that a few years later, the hierarchs of Falstone recognized the blood relationship between their patrons, the Von Valances dynasty, and Saint Cognatius himself. The fate of the pure-voiced prophet, guardian of the hallowed crucible, was a sad one. After visiting the seven worlds and bestowing the blessings of transformation upon them, he perished at the hands of the bloodthirsty Drakari pirates, along with his retinue and his priceless relic. With the fall of their unholy patron, the Edge of Daybreak, the Cult of the Final Dawn, perished as well. Now you can actually... Now here's the thing, if you fall down the heretical path, you can actually recruit him. He's actually a recruitable character. One of the secret ones. Every cell of the cult was hunted down and eliminated. Rumors that some worshippers of the Luminous powers had managed to get away, hiding the writings of the warp-banished lord under their robes, were baseless. Left without a mission or a leader, the word-bearers retreated to the depths of the Immaterium. Their last act of vengeance was a bloody assault on Footfall. The populace of several asteroids was exterminated or enslaved, and the statue of the God Emperor was badly damaged. After recovering from Corona's regime, Footfall reclaimed its status as the trading hub of the Expanse. Having learned a bitter lesson, Vladim Tokara created the Footfall Partisans Militia, a well-equipped mercenary army that answered only to him. A modicum of order returned to the station. The changes that the Von Valances dynasty brought to Footfall endured on the station long after. Poorhouses opened by the order of the Road Trader saved many hungry and homeless from death. Unfortunately, this disrupted the station's delicate ecosystem. No longer freezing to death in empty compartments or tormented by epidemics, those who lived in poverty on Footfall began to choke the station, leading to a sharp rise in crime. Organ traders, legal medic specialists, and savage gangs of Anvers proliferated. Left without a sun, the Reichad system ceased to exist. Its now frigid planet spun away into the darkness, no longer held by the gravitational pull of their star. A century later, a fragment of Ricus Minoris entered the Fabundus system and was snared by Void Hunt miners. A piece of its rock was delivered to Footfall with the reverence and used in the restoration of the God Emperor's statue as the final memorial to the world devoured by corruption. Yeah, missed a lot of stuff. All the best minds in the service of the House of Valancius took up the study of the Ferricium. Numerous uses were soon found for the natural science focus, but the jubilation was short-lived. In a series of major warp breaches in the Facetium export destinations put an end to any good and all goodwill towards the research. People began zealously destroying anything that remotely resembled a mineral. However, a few exceptionally strong psychers managed to bend the sinister rock to their will, magnifying their sorcerous powers sevenfold and turning them into a force the Expanse has had to reckon with ever since. Rumours of the rotting remains of an Aldari craft world spread around the Expanse. Explorators, privateers and catabolic agents, and anyone hungry for easy money, all rushed to the frontier system to vie for a piece of the prize. Some were swallowed by the warp, while others perished in skirmishes with their rivals. The most skilled and fortunate returned empty-handed after decades of searching. The colossal ship, as big as the Imperial world, simply vanished, as if it had never existed. But the legend of the forbidden treasure lived on, and continued to bring daring souls to ruin. Aldari from the fallen craft world, Krodra Darach, who once travelled through the darkness of the Expanse in a desperate attempt to gather the remains of their kin, were becoming a rarer sight. Even the most skillful catabolic agent and audacious bounty hunters with knowledge of Xena settlements on the edges of the Expanse could no longer find their trail. Squads of Aldari rangers suddenly appeared on different worlds and disappeared abruptly without shedding a drop of blood. Their purpose remained an enigma. That's the work of what we did with Yeleti. Instead of fighting and telling them to do battle with us, it's a case of just pick up and leave. Just leave the expanse. They were lured here to use a weapon on them. The news of Xenos appearing in the expanse was followed by reports from Agrigol Yanas about a strange flash in the night sky. When the light disappeared, authorities sent out patrol and located a Xenos camp among ancient ruins. Their trail ended near the White Monument, a webway gate. Whether this path led the Eldari, only their Farseers know. Time spent on the same world as Monkey pushed the Farseer Moran towards reflection. When the webway gate awoke on Yanas and squads of Eldari rangers stepped onto their ancestors' world, he averted a bloodbath, granting the Lelafan and its new and native citizens his blessing as he disappeared through the spinning portal, departing for a new home. The spirit monolith, purified by the Harlequin troop on the Crone world, was hidden from the insatiable eyes of the Monkey by a raging warp storms. Ships started going missing more frequently in the system, close to the planet. Even the most courageous captains gave the region a wide berth, and it was named the Damned Reef. That's a Crone world. So, if the Eldari know how to get in and out, they can pick up spirit stones by the hundreds. Malachi. Somewhere on the underside of reality lay Common Ra, woven from manifold other dimensions and illuminated as always with the light of stolen suns. Its streets ever filled with screams and agony. Any misfortune experienced by the Dark City became another scar on its appalling face. Lost among the thousands of our vile blemishes, as long as pain pulsed in its blood-soaked spires, insatiable and unshakable, Common Ra continued its flight through the webway, along with its unchanging ruler, the leader of the Cabal of the Black Hearts, and the most dangerous of all Drukhari, Azrael Baal Vek. And he would destroy us. Azrael Bek. That's the sister. The fall of the Cabal of the Reading Tempest united Common Ra for a brief and bloody moment. The elites of the Dark City set their squabbles aside and found a new game tearing apart the domain of Archon Numeris. The fate of the Reading Tempest reminded the other Cabals that nothing lasts forever in the Dark City, save the city itself. However, the participants of the cannibalistic feasting soon came to regret their rapacity. After rallying around the Marazai, Aranesh, the surviving warriors of Reading Tempest, delivered a surprise counterattack. Many of the plundering cabals lost so many fighters that they in turn became tempting prey for vultures. By throwing this bloody carrion to the scavengers, the Reading Tempest seized its chance to survive and return to its former strength. As they were leaving the Necron system, Nomos destroyed every tomb world of the ancient Xenos. Some internal strife had awakened within the young deity, demanding that the planets of the undead be obliterated. Following the destruction of Lefus, rogue trader von Valancius directed part of his teeth towards restoring the Chronos Expanse. Worlds that had suffered from Xenos heretics and horrors of the void. Many of them only survived thanks to the aid, although the broad gesture was met with scant understanding by aristocrats. Some years later, the worlds which the teeth had been distributed were struck by a ghastly disease that came to be known as Lefus Curse. Whether it truly was related to the teeth or a mere attempt to slander the Expanse's protector remained a mystery. The voice of the Vox Master vigorous Surime Ota of the Toyelman dynasty has long resounded in these events, bringing hope and trumpeting the arrival of the merciful rogue trader. Known for her wisdom and acute understanding of ship systems, over her long life she taught many generations of future Vox masters from the Toyelman dynasty. Her body was built into the bridge itself. In times of need, her voice flowed through the Vox, dispelling delusions and despair. Thanks to the Lord Captain's influence, Idira and Vigis became close once again, mending their sundered friendship. They were often seen talking at the card table over glasses of Amsec. The pale cheeks of the Voxmaster would brighten with colour after such encounters, a sight as rare as the Void Kraken. Enjoying those precious moments, the good friends tried not to dwell on how long either of them had left. After years of dedicated service, Master Helmsman Ravor was granted, despite his objections, the privilege of rest. The wise sons of the Omnissiah implanted an augment into his brain that restored his ability to sleep. Soon afterwards, something unprecedented happened. Aboard the ship, the Helm Master overslept and missed the start of his watch, but his temper did become much more agreeable from then on. Many years later, High Factorum Janus Darmok sought permission to retire. He said that age had softened his heart, and that a more worthy, young, and assertive successor should take over his position. There was no shortage of candidates. Under all that fat, Danrock had a sentimental heart. He spared nothing for the orphans of those who had died serving the rogue trader. The children were given excellent education and were eager to serve on the Monolith's dynasty. Jocasta Saucerback served as Master of Arms for years, but eventually her zeal faded. It appeared that, having tried every form of violence in existence, she no longer derived out of any of them the joy it once held. Jocasta humbly submitted her resignation and went back to her home on the capital world. She took up the position of the warden of one of the capital world's hives and reconciled with her cousin Macaris, albeit only after a while. Reconciliation was, at any rate, easy to overlook during the gatherings of capital world nobility. Here, Jocasta and Macaris would waste no opportunity to have ferocious row. After many years, Zachary Weiss mustered the courage to take personal apprentices again. He searched throughout the expanse for astropaths whose masters were harsh and cruel to them, and recruited them to his choir. He gathered a cast of talented men and women by his side, and was their guardian and mentor. Weiss died defending his wards from cursed words spewed by the Immaterium. Sealing the sound of those words in his mind, he preferred a horrible death to a reputation for his shameful past mistakes. The former prefect was sentenced to thief accounting duty for the rest of her life. For several years she inhabited a tiny room stacked with papers until one day she felt the life going out of her withered body. She assembled her few subordinates and meticulously handed over her various responsibilities. Her final words were, "This completes the reading of the list. Rank 2 clerk in Scribia Volter is hereby stepping down for death-related reasons." High Overseer Gregoras Strach of Venomous 6 rendered his duty with zeal unfathomable to the common mind. Under his leadership, the penal world became a paragon of order and a place of incarceration that criminals feared more than death. Strach spent his final years in a small, damp room, disturbingly reminiscent of a jail cell. He declined every award and honor for his assiduous service and preferred solitude to any kind of company. Urban Drivestein carried out more than about a preserving of the influence of his line than the well-being of the Protectorate. His blind ambition lost him his governor's seat and the respect of his family. In a few generations, one of the largest houses on Dragonos turned into an obscure family of petty aristocrats. The Gaprak missed the moment when her family, which had previously functioned like a well-oiled machine, started to fall apart, racked by infighting among her distant relatives. Many blaming Toriana for Kira Gamma disaster. Soon the Gaprak family splintered into warring factions and spent centuries locked in a violent struggle, only occasionally punctuated by few attempts to reunite the house. Let's see, the Saucerback was loyal to Rogue Trader to the last, despite all the rumours to the contrary, finding little affection among his subjects or family. He stayed true to himself, remaining a forthright, severe and pious person. Macarius strived to ensure that every soul in his charge felt justifiable dread before both him and the God Emperor. Members of House of Warsirian served the dynasty faithfully and loyally, amassing more and more power. A century later, they had finally gained the respect enjoyed by the other noble houses. Yet power and luxury can dull any blade. The now pampered and idle aristocrats were scarcely recognizable as descendants from the formidable Seneschal Warsirian. Clementina Warsirian, granddaughter of Abelard and Chancellor Dragonos, executed her duties irreproachably and even found time to school the younger generations of her family. She was an equally skilled mentor, chancellor, and political operative. After a century of immaculate service, she surprised everyone by leaving her position and becoming the first mate on a trade ship. She would later admit, like a true Warsirian, she had always had the passion for ships and voidfaring. How branches of House Gapak and Warsirian became intertwined for a time after the marriage of Aristia and Vincent. To the great sadness of the couple, and the great amusement of spiteful Dragonos nobility, their marriage produced no children. Just like our ancestors, Asteria dedicated her life to service. Crushed by the events that shook the stability of his house and his inability to provide an heir, Vincent lived out with his wife's shadow. When his time came, he passed away without notice. The Harlequin, known as Nocturne of Oblivion, visited the Expanse once again. Sneaking on Dragonos, he came to the Rogue Trader's palace and left him a special gift. A case of Aldari crafting. Unmistakably ancient and precious, adorned with the rune of an eye inside of a triangle. Only the Lord Captain knew what it contained. The Harlequin candidly warned him that he was drawing the Von Valance's dynasty into a deadly dance, a shaking doom that will freeze within the threads of terror's loom. Then he promptly departed, and not without reason. A few hours later, assassins from Dark City appeared, following his trail, and were mercilessly killed. Their armor bore the sign of the Cabal of Black Heart. I think he stole something from them, probably a spirit stone. After months of searching, Dragonos wardens found the remains of Achilles Scalander on the lowest levels of the hive. Drukhari artifacts and records discovered beside him indicate that the agent of the Inquisition had been compromised and was working for Xenos. Marazai confirmed the guilt of the deceased Inquisition agent and described in detail the torture he inflicted upon the poor soul to gain his obedience and loyalty. He also confirmed that Giroletti had found and killed his Monkey toy, yet few chose to believe the words of the curse of Xenos and thus the secret of the death of Achilles Scalander was never publicly known. Maeve settled in the life of all the flagship surprisingly quickly, and her kindness and gentle nature touched the hearts of the crew. One dashing officer made his romantic interest known, but Maeve spurned his advances, hiding behind high collars and the shawls of the figuring masks. Marks of the dark ritual that had taken place on Pharesia. When Maeve's suitor at last secured her consent to marry, little did he know that he was walking into a blood-soaked nightmare. Just before the ceremony, his bride-to-be transformed into a Chaosborn. To the cries of horror and despair, the creature gorged itself on the shattered hopes until it was slain by the arriving enforcers. It is said that the creature as she lay bleeding, it tried to sing a surprisingly tender tune and called out someone named Dien. Darn. Savage deeds that Gordry Sakatov witnessed on Footfall transmuted him, traumatized him forever. His architectural genius was shattered. All the rare collection of true connoisseurs held his work. Written by Shaky Hands, Footfall, the Ultimate Void Station in Monterey. How many people do I influence? Yeah, the granddaughter Jerrican grew up to be a quick-witted and energetic captain. Since her guardian, who went simply by the name Chaplain, knew only faith and slaughter, and void-faring, he advised her to invest her inheritance in a void ship. Her trade clipper, the Snake, travelled to all the settled worlds of the Expanse and to many uncharted ones as well. In all the time that Adelina Bellado was captain, her ship never once fired on a civilian vessel. The secrets of the Genestealer cult infestation in the Cross Expanse were laid bare. A wave of purges rolled across many worlds, with enraged rebel and planetary guards massacring thousands of those whose appearance diverged from the true human form. Most of them were, of course, ordinary, abject genetic misfits and luckless rejects, but their lives were small price for Zeta's purity. A handful of prisoners, all that remained of the congregation of the Rounder Star, were left on a minor planet with few supplies. Survivors included only children and old men and women whose appearance had the fewest distortions. Not one of the true monsters had been spared, or so it seemed. The genetic aberration had all but faded away in the blood of the survivors, only to reveal itself again in their offspring. Soon purple chitin-coloured children were born under the greedy light of an alien stars, and went on to carry the many-armed Emperor on the tips of their sting-like tongues. I don't know if I actually spared them or not. I think I did. Having completed his last journey with Lord Captain, Abelard Wersin, with the gracious permission of the Rogue Trader, left his post as Seneschal and took over the helm of his large family. House Wersin rose above his rivals and was never again the target of persecution, even after their esteemed patriarch died decades later in his bed surrounded by his grieving loved ones. Abelard's shining memory was blighted only by rumours of a creeping madness in the twilight of his life. Many said they had seen the esteemed Seneschal talking to someone unseen, in a voice filled with unusual tenderness and sorrow. After the battle on Epitaph, Argenta was firmly set on the path of the sister Repentia. Their form of fervour and zeal gave way to grim, cold resignation. She longed for death, yet death seemed to flee before her, the former companion of the Lord Captain. Or perhaps she just could not find a worthy opponent. So things carried on until one day, while fighting heretics on an uncharted world, Argentia threw herself into the massive inferno to strike down a horrendous warp spawn. Her comrades saw only shadows in the fire and herds of beasts dying below. The flames burned for several days. When they finally subsided, Argentia's body was found on the charred rubble, lifeless but untouched by the fire. In one hand she held a chainsword, in the other a shard of the golden aquila she had always kept close to her ever since arriving in the Expanse. The merchant, I think we're going to find out the companions here, unlocked a sea of possibilities for Jay Hederi. She left Casablanca commission and became an independent agent. Choosing one's destiny is a unique gift for ordinary mortals who never dared dream of, but Jay was no ordinary mortal. She found new friends, skillfully dancing along the knife's edge between trade and piracy, stole from the strong, granted mercy to the weak, and even bought a couple of modest ship planets. And she never even betrayed herself. She never ever betrayed herself. Half a century later, her life was tragically cut short. A weak and little-known rogue trader dynasty, led by a young and ambitious leader, ambushed and captured Jade Hederi in order to appropriate her wealth. The Von Valancia's fleet's strike was lightning fast, but Mistress Hederi could not be saved. She died in the hand of avaricious captors. Isabel of the Bloodspun Wind guided her cult along its old paths and remained faithful to tradition. As before, Bloodspun web cultists led esoteric lives and brought death to those who had been marked by the Undying One. However, nothing was unchanging. A momentous event profoundly impacted the Bloodspun web: the discovery and miraculous return of a lost relic, a card from the Emperor's turret. The Vizier performing a reading, and the Emperor showed her new goal: to put the blessed deck back together. Only in its entirety could it reveal the great and dark future that awaited the Cronos Expanse. That's when Webb read the portents and the Holy Search commenced. Oh. Okay, new acquired power and resources. She expanded a great deal to put an end to the blissful web. The ease with which she sent assassins after the spinners was and spread damning propaganda betrayed her strong vested interest. Many thought her actions reckless and expected a retaliatory strike to be delivered before long, but it never came. With the cards of the Emperor's spread before her in the darkness, Vizier Kibela performed one reading after another. But as much as it troubled her, she could find no command to end the life of her brazen adversary. Thus the blade remained sheathed. A loyal and dutiful servant of the Rogue Trader, he went on to become an outstanding bridge officer and shrewd void wolf. He visited many systems and worlds in the Rose Expanse, but never set foot on his native Dagonus, nor saw his family ever again. Yep, now got this guy. Henrik von, the former interrogator of the Ordo Xenos, took the mantle of Lord Inquisitor after his mentor's death, receiving both Inquisitors Rosette and the duty of defending the sector from enemies of the humanity. Van Kalox became the new Warden of the Rose Expanse. Declared the relentless war against its enemies of humanity, be they Xenos, Sons of Chaos, or heretics in the Imperium's own ranks. The Inquisitor fearlessly eliminated numerous nests of corruption in the Expanse. A few decades later, he was assassinated by a criminal cartel. Some say that the cartel's mission, sick of the unrelenting servant of the law, was involved in the Inquisitor's killing. Despite scandalous rumours about a love affair with the Rogue Trader, Lady Navigator Cassie continued to accompany her love among the stars of the Expanse for a time. Their love was like a candle flame, warm, tremulous, insatiable, and quickly extinguished. When Cassia took the throne as Novator, love gave way to duty. Some praised their doomed love over glasses of Amsec, while others cursed it and spat in disgust. Yet, even after entering the arranged dynastic marriage and passing on her precious genes, Cassia kept in contact with the only person she had ever truly loved, until her dying days. In her journey as Rogue Trader, Cassia Orselio experienced all the hardships and lights of the galaxy. The invaluable experience and new knowledge helped her finally conquer her fears and accept herself and her powers. The Lady Navigator became Novator of a house tasked with addressing the consequences of Tisphonia's rule and the chaos that followed their disappearance. For the duration of her reign, she patiently worked on uniting the feuding branches of the house, forging alliances and expanding the influence of House Orsilio. The Starway Atlas, which contained the memories of Tisphony and the Cephala clan, lost its power. House Orsilio's navigators once again had to rely on skill alone in the depths of the Imperium. Many lost their lives, but those who survived this crisis became hardened veterans and pillars of the house. Most of these fortress souls were young and brave. Too few among them were old and wise. Idira lived several more years after Rogue Trader's grand campaign on Epitaph. Despite her short life, she left behind many legends and tales of her adventures in the Lord Captain's service, and of the terrible warp forlorn she actually manifested. Except her fate, she found guidance, as she expected, in the wisdom of the Bloodspun web. The words of Vizier Kibela, who had come to know death better than any mortal soul, helped Idira look to her future without regret, but without fear. Sorry, not without regret, but without fear. For many years afterwards, there was an empty table in the common area, on the officer's deck, that had an intricate labyrinth carved onto its tabletop. None of the crew sat at that table out of respect for the quiet and candid conversations once shared, as if by a psyker and a servant of the undying Emperor. Shortly before her death, Idira vanished from her post. Jay disappeared with her. When Jay returned many cycles later, she declared that Idira's last days had been full of joy and adventure, and that her greatest pleasure had been watching the Void Whales play. No, dear God, how many pages? It's going to be a half a set. This is a stream in itself. It's a long one. Instilled terror in the hearts of those who revered the Pharaohs of purity. but gave hope to others. After gathering its disciples and recruiting several soldiers from vassal planets, it ventured into the world of the Screaming Vortex and the infernal forge of the Dark Mechanicus. This march of re-indoctrination was meant to seize the stolen secrets of the Omnissiah from the hands of the heretics, temper the cult in the fire of battle, and transform it into a tool for both eradication and comprehension. The fleet disappeared into darkness, and only rare echoes of its astropathic messages were ever intercepted. Until Abel Hanema continued his service to Amanat Collective. In unity with 5 companion minds, he rediscovered the joy of direct cognitive communication, unmarred by inborn otherness. While outwardly silent, he joyfully subscribed the images, concepts, and ideas that the Omnissiah revealed to him. Fulfilling his function, he overflowed with exaltation of efficiency. For many long years, Ylet travelled at the Road Trader's side, helping him decipher the secrets of the lost Xenos races and leading in the wisdom of her kind. Half a century later, she sensed that it was time to say goodbye. The path of the outcast had come to an end. After bidding farewell to her Elentarch, Ylet made her way to her surviving kin. Ylet followed a new path, the path of the warrior. She only hoped she would never be forced to raise her weapon against the mortals who had become her true brothers and sisters in arms. Rumour has it that Ylet and Pascal met again among the alien stars. A band of Aldari warriors were trying to protect an ancient planetary edifice of their people from the covetous servants of the Omnissiah. Upon learning that Ylet was leading the Xenos, Pascal personally descended to the planet and struck down his former comrade in arms. Her death did not stir any feelings in his metallic heart. Yeah, that's rumours in that one. Rumours of what happened. There's rumours that they met. No offense, but Ylet is a very good warrior, fighter. Should have probably sniped him before we got him near her. Following the transition of power from the Adeptus Arbites, Solomon rejoined the ranks, where he remained in service the rest of his life. Implacable, incorruptible, Solomon was thrice offered the position of Arbites Marshal, which he refused every time. Toward the end of his life, Anfar, though still humble protector, wielded an authority surpassing that of his superior officers. This was likely the reason for the final and only successful attempt on his life. And Solomon and Anfar spent most of their frequent meetings playing Regicide, to which Seneschal had introduced a protector. Meticulously recorded by Abelard's adjutant, their games soon found their way into the collection of the best ones ever played in the Expanse, and were later referenced by many noble Regicide aficionados. When the first officer, Wurrasin, passed away before he could finish the last match in the long series of draws, Solomon attended his funeral in full dress and regalia, and placed a Regicide piece on his grave. Duty demanded that the Magos and the Marshal parted ways. During their last meeting, Pascal made a few final modifications to Galeto's design, increased the Cybermastiff's service life several-fold. Whether the gift had any impact on Solomon is uncertain, but on more than one occasion, having his faithful dog at his side would turn out to be his salvation, in even the darkest of days. Marazai, who added to the title of Voidfarer to his name, returned to Common Ra, to the Cabal of the Reaving Tempest, which had survived persecution against all odds, and awaited the coming of his rightful master. The new Archon, despite rumours of connecting him to the death of a leader of the Cabal of the Black Heart, gained Vect's favour and the respect of the Dark City. Destroying and absorbing several small Cabals, the Reaving Tempest once again rose to the zenith of sinister glory. Years later, Marazai's name resounded through the Expanse once more. His gang had intercepted Astaria's ship, Rosinia's ship. Her head was delivered to Abelard with a note informing that it was a gift from an old acquaintance in remembrance of the glorious past. Abelard's grief sent him on a 6-year-long hunt for the despicable Xenos, which sadly was unsuccessful. No one knows how many enemies Marazai faced in his lifetime, but what is known is that the name of his last opponent. Once he had left the Road Trader's retinue, there was nothing to stop him from testing the warrior that had long since caught his curiosity. The Blade Dancer. In turn, there was nothing stopping her from executing the Undying Emperor's will of exterminating the Xenos. Both spent years preparing for this fight, studying each other from the shadow. Their dance took place on a remote world, and bountiful was the offering of blood it left upon the surface. The victor of the battle never appeared in the Chronos Expanse again, and thus the outcome remains unknown. Probably Marazai. She's good, but he's better. After joining the Stormbiters, Ulfar Thunderlong soon became the pack leader, taking the place of Forbald, who met an honourable end. The new leader sent a message to Fenris, stating his intention to remain in the Expanse. There were too many enemies yet lurking in these hunting grounds that deserved the Allfather's wrath. Legends paved the formidable pack's path in gold. Years later, Ulfar found a battle in which he couldn't meet his honourable death, but the warp was suddenly torn asunder, and ships from Fenris, bearing the marks of the Wolf Head, came to his aid. Saved from the battlefield by his loyal companions, Halbrand, Ulfar accepted the honours of the Dreadnought and was entombed in sacred armour. During the blessed ritual, he cursed and demanded to be left to his death, but his brothers merely answered with mirthful laughter. When he recovered his senses, Ulfar led his forces to help Even Stars. The Allfather had given him a new mission in a near-death vision. No one in the Expanse has heard a word from the Space Wolves since their departure, yet many believe that one day they will return victorious. It is rumoured that the true cause of Falbar's Ironhide's demise was treachery. Faced with a superior enemy, the Space Wolves called on their allies for help, but a nearby squadron of the Conscience fleet withdrew, defiantly broadcasting that the blood debt to Archimegas Amarant is not forgotten. Wow. Yeah, I'm not surprised to say that. I was thinking, well, such was the echo of the deeds of the Road Trader of the House of Von Valancius. Deeds that transformed the Chronos Expanse and prepared it for events even darker and more violent. But those are events of a different story. This one has come to an end. The end. Question mark. Speed you up. Speed up, stay sped. It's a long list. We're speeding through this, so yay. If you want to hit pause something and read it, you can do. There's a lot. The thing is, though, there is the DLC for this is not yet out, so I may return to this at some point after one of the DLCs out and do the DLC. In fact, there's actually several DLCs set for this game. But yeah, it looks like the Imperium did not take kindly to me trying to step away from the doctrines. I was wondering if it could show a different path for her. In fact, there's only rumours that she had a demise. Well, special thanks. Woo! Hey, Algat Games have done a darn good job with this sort of stuff. But then again, they've had practice doing D&D, so. And Warhammer is 4K is a tabletop game, so we were just slightly OP at the end of that fight. But we were doing all extra DLCs and whatnot. Because we did DLC fights and extra battles, we probably gained more levels than we're supposed to have. It seems I straight as Cassie to the path of that made a join go break off from Yubel, but I chose options that seemed fitting. Special thanks is huge. We are thanking the 40K universe and everyone in it. There are like many laws, many videos with saying like this god will kill this guy or this guy will take this guy. It's like, yeah, but in the day, we beat the Shard because it had just woken up and it wasn't actually thinking about us. Its only thought was was leaving. If they decided, you know what, I'm just going to take you down instead, just wholeheartedly focus on us, there's a good chance it would have killed us. And we can only have the Nomos ending because we took the path that led to Nomos being there. Let's face it, the Catan hated the Necron for the fact they imprisoned them. Go to L. Oh, it went M now. N coming up? Eventually? A lot of M's. There you go, there's a lot of M's. M-E, M-I, MI6. Oh, M-I, M-O, yes, N's. Well, including non-applicables there. That's all that. O's. Yeah, I had to take my finger off there for a second. I want to stretch my fingers. Onwards! We're getting there. We are getting there. P's. Q. R. Frankly, not a lot of people name Q. U and V, UVW should be very short. There's this. And should we get into T shortly? Oh, it's BD. I can read some of this, you know. Even if it is a big path like this. There's T's. Some which go to. There's U's, there's V, there's can we come out with V shortly, W's? There they are. And W section. X, Y, and Z. Y is very, very short. And that's Chinese. Yay! Bagger's done. Oof. That's what we got at the moment. See impact 2 is good. bound, flow of ships. Pain and danger of weight. Yeah, we've got void shells. We've got Lex Imperialis, so that's number 2. Number 3 is Maze of the Infinite. 2. Also along those lines. I'm not sure what 4 is. I'm pretty sure there is a 4, so yeah. This is gonna have to be it though, folks. We have hit the end of the stream. At the end of the stream, the end of the game, and until the next one comes out, I may not return to this one. So a little early. But we may be heading back to the world of, world of the dark, the paths of righteousness, wraths of righteous. However, it will not be the 5th part of the campaign, which I also think is heading for an end game. Because to get the whole thing on that one and do a little extra stuff with my current character, we have to instead do one of the DLC paths, which is a separate campaign. Actually, no, Street of Thieves, we'll do 2 of them. Now, I don't think they're as long as the main game, given the fact that it's dealing with Canabras. Stuff to do with Canabras, but it is, we're pushing on that one. If we do those two, two-parter, because a two-parter, completing the second one, finishing that one, will unlock a quest line for us to do in the main campaign, and will grant us access to, well, more content, to be very honest. And I'm doing good in that game, by the way. I've actually got 5 characters. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep Demona as is, or push, or roll back the clock on her, change the character to a different class and whatnot. Because I got the wizard already. And since she's taking the path of demons, change her to something a little more useful for that class. A little more beneficial for that type. As for, I've got the other 2. I've got multiple guys. I've got one character that is going to stay in Aeon and go wholeheartedly down the path of the Aeon. So I am now, but I'm going to actually try and do the quest lines to do a proper Aeon evolution, whatever it needs to be, whatever I need to do. I'm not even sure what that actually accomplishes. Then I got a shifter who is destined for the path of the Golden Dragon. So that's my planned path for her. And it makes sense. Shapeshifter, dragon form. Then I need to look at doing, oh god, I need to look at doing more characters. Because I've still got to do one that actually rejects everything and just walks the path of the human. A divine adventurer. As good as that is, I suppose. I got to do a necromancer and turn him into a lich. as the Trickster and the Azat. Well, there's a lot of guys to pass to do. But that is all for next time. For now, I have been Demonox, and this has been the Rogue Trader. And I have actually quite rather enjoyed this game. Not so much the endings, but there are probably choices I could have made. If I'm going to change those, I have to literally start from the scratch, because they require things to be altered. And if I'm going to start from scratch on that one, it's going to be one who's going to be a faithful character and a heretic. Why have you not taken Olgif with you? I can only call Ulfar with you. Well, there's one you can choose. You actually choose to take the path of Marazai never joins you, and he dies in the Common Ra. In actual fact, you can kill every character going in your team. You can choose choices to get rid of them, one after the other. You can also choose options that allow you to just take a squad of. Based on the multiplayer aspect of this game, you can cooperative mode. You can essentially take a squad of fellas. In cooperative mode, you can create a lobby. What do I create a lobby for? Wow. I would have to go all the way back. Whee! Yeah, Yorick 5. I think that's the far back it'll let me go. Hey-ho, that's all for next time, folks. Until then, I'll catch you all later. Where we'll end up, I'm not sure. But we'll go somewhere. So until then, see ya.